The Anaheim Ducks have surprised a lot of people, but how do they take the next step? Kyle Kjer of Locked On Ducks is here to talk about that and more next on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. It is my pleasure to welcome to the show for the first time the new host of Locked On Ducks, Kyle Kjer. And Kyle, it's been a pleasant surprise season for the Anaheim Ducks. I think they finished so far higher in the standings than most people expected. What has been the key to the team's surprising progress this year?
Well, thanks for having me, Gil. There's a few things that have been kind of a key to the, I want to say, rebirth of this team. I think a lot of it stems from having a lot of these guys finally kind of in their sophomore, junior seasons. Guys like McTavish, Zegras, Terry's been there for quite a few seasons now, but a lot of these guys are finally getting into their own and really catching on to the winning mentality. I think this season really helped them when they were in that little bit of a chase during February. They finally got to get that experience of games that matter and minutes that matter, and that the littlest things can lead to either being in the playoffs or not being in the playoffs.
How important would it be for this team to get to 82 points and finish with a 500 record or better this year?
It would be absolutely great for them to get to that point. It's a little bit of a uphill battle right now with how they played against Vancouver, but they have the skill set to do so, and they've been playing up against some of the harder teams in the league, and they definitely have that capability. And getting to that 500 level compared to last year, they're already almost 20 points ahead of where they finished last season. And to be able to be at a 500 level pace, it just builds that confidence going into the offseason and letting these guys come together and know, hey, we're a competitive team. We're going to have that next step next year. And the prospects that are coming up are absolutely insane right now. Verbeek did a great job with the draft. So there's a lot to look forward to for these players, especially with the 500 season.
Talk to me about Trevor Zegras. His name has been mentioned in trade rumors for so long. He is still an Anaheim Duck. What is keeping his game from blossoming and realizing the great potential that he has?
I think a little bit of the stardom got him at the beginning of his career with kind of getting launched right in with the couple Michigans that he had. And then he was on the cover of NHL, and there's probably a lot just rushing at him at such a young age, but fought a little bit of injury the last couple seasons and then got his first suspension, which of all players, I would not expect Trevor Zegras to have a suspension, especially for a big hit. But I think he's really catching on and learning the 200-foot game, and he's been playing really well since coming back from that injury this year and from the suspension, and really just adhering to Cronin's advice and trying to play a more physical game, a more defensive game. And he's definitely a pass first type player, but when he does get his shot, he's got a wicked shot, and he's been scoring quite a few goals in the last recent games.
Special teams have hurt the Ducks all year long. The power play dead last in the league. The penalty kill is 30th as we record this. What has been wrong with the special teams, and going forward, obviously this year is more or less done, but how do you improve on the special teams?
Special teams has definitely been a wash this season, and a big issue is their break-ins. They've not been able to get into the zone and establish a consistent offense once they are in. And when they do get the puck in finally, they kind of just stick to the perimeter. They're not moving their feet. They're not moving around the back of the net. Like, the puck handler is not moving. They have guys kind of just, they set up the umbrella and they're sticking to that. They seem like they've been trying to hit Vetrano and McTavish with the one-timer and not really getting as much traffic. The last couple power play goals that they actually did score were due to having traffic in front of the net and getting them off the bumper shot. So they definitely need to clog up the middle lanes a little bit more and work on the entry. The entry is so predictable. They use this little back pass that they've been doing for years now, and it just, everyone knows what to do. You just clog up the neutral zone, guys run into each other, and then you got to either dump and chase or try again. So they definitely need to work on their entries and actually entering with possession.
Who's been the quarterback of the power play?
The quarterback that they've had Lacombe on one unit and then Zellweger on the other, and they're really quick. They know how to get the puck moving and everything. Zellweger sometimes has a little bit of pressure, and you can kind of see ends up losing the puck because he's trying to look at what plays to make, and then he gets a little flustered there. But they got Zegras with Lacombe that usually works the puck on the left side, and then they try to get it to McTavish and suck in the defense. And then that second unit they've been kind of tinkering with. So that first unit, though, has been out there for most of the power play. The second's usually out there for like 10, 15 seconds.
How about the PK?
PK unit, well, they've got Gudis out there right now, and also Lacombe. Lacombe's just been the Swiss Army knife for defense right now. And they had Carlson out there killing, and then Vetrano, he's usually out there as well. The second unit, I'm not 100% sure on who that is without looking up right now. But they just seem to be leaking a power play at least once a game. The Vancouver game was like 3 power play goals that they gave up. It's been absurd. And they did get a couple shorties, though. So they hadn't had a shorthanded goal since the beginning of the season, and they got 2 back-to-back recently. So little bright spot there, but overall it's been just painful to watch the special teams. Like, just keep it 5-on-5. Like, you don't even need the extra man or the give up a man.
You talked about some prospects that the team has drafted well. Who do you think out of the prospects, 2 or 3 that have the best chance of making this team next season?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think Tristan Luneau, he's been playing really well down in San Diego. And then they just brought in Sten Solberg from, he's Norwegian, but they brought him over from the Swedish Hockey League, and he's fit right in. He's already got a few points and stuff. And then Ian Moore just came from Harvard. He's playing really well as well. He's got 5 points in 7 games. There's a lot of big names down there that are growing. Beckett Seneca, though, I don't know if he's going to be able to be NHL worthy next year or ready, just with his size and kind of his lankiness. But the way he's been lighting up down in juniors with Oshawa has been absurd. He's already got 4 goals in the playoffs, and there are 4 games. And he had only 10 goals last year playing 16 playoff games. So he's just lighting it up. He got like 4 team trophies this year including best forward, top scorer, and the physical player of the year.
Not bad.
He's doing really swell.
What is the most important thing that you think this team needs to do over the offseason?
I think they just need to actually make some movement. The team overall, they have a pretty good setup right now. The core is pretty decent. It's hard to complain about the 4 lines right now, but they need to bring in a bona fide center and a center that's a scorer and can get pucks in the net. That's kind of been their biggest crutch, is having a legitimate shooter. They have a lot of guys that like to pass first. Cutter Gauthier, he's a pretty good shooter, but he just got unlucky at the beginning of the year. I think he was leading the league with most shots without a goal at one point, and they just need to bring in a veteran presence that's going to help get scoring going. And I'm a little concerned about the captain, Radko Gudas. He seems like he's been kind of floundering recently. I do like them bringing in Jacob Trouba. He seems to be fitting in very nicely with the team and not having to be the man anymore. And that the youth that's down in San Diego, with how many defenders they're building up down there, I think there might be some movement in the D core there.
Going to be an interesting offseason, Kyle. I know you'll have it covered every step of the way. Why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me on social media at my last name, KJER Talk Sports. That's Car Sports. Car Talk Sports. That's on Instagram and Twitter. And then Locked On Ducks on Blue Sky. And then you can follow Locked On. Make sure you look up Anaheim Ducks because you don't want to be following the Oregon Ducks. But Locked On Anaheim Ducks on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you find or listen to any of your podcasts. We're there. And then also we're on the Fire TV. If you look up Anaheim Ducks, you'll find some of our content there.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Gil.
Today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. I've been in that situation where you need to hire like yesterday. The pressure is on, and every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed Sponsored Jobs come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need.